Hey, good morning, everyone. It's daylight savings. So if Julie hadn't emailed me yesterday, I would be here in an hour. So good news for Julie. So I wonder how many folks will have troop in a little bit and say, oh no, what just happened? So happy daylight savings. Robert and I just got back from the Church of the Mountains. We traveled to Jackson Hole and Big Sky to ski, and it was his brother's bucket list trip, and it was gorgeous, and the snow was horrible. So 8 days on ice and slush. So you just have to find happiness where it is. But I want to give a shout out to what's happening here at our Unity is that we've got interchangeable parts. So thank you, Gerald, for emceeing, but we've got this lovely team kind of atmosphere that's going on so that we've got a community, a team that's keeping us moving forward, and it's just such a pleasure to be part of this lovely, beloved community. I have some announcements this morning, as you might guess. First, and maybe most importantly, is to ask if we have any folks who are new to our Unity this morning that wants us to know that. Welcome. Julie, if you look over your shoulder, in the foyer, we'll have newcomers packets. So if you would like to have a packet and see what's happening at Unity of Fort Collins, we'd be more than happy to give you one of those. Online folks, the legions and hordes of folks out there, it's nice to have you here. I keep being so surprised by how many folks are watching us online. So if you all can just imagine looking around here, there's at least this same number and many Sundays more people who are watching online than are with us in person. So hi, folks out there. I also want you to look around to the back wall. Check that out. That is Diana Swigert's artwork. And I am just blown away by what's on that back wall. I'm a beginner weaver, and that is mind-boggling about what's back there. So thank you, Diana, for the back wall. Ellen MacQueen, our own Ellen, is going to be our speaker today, and I can't wait to see what you have to offer. But I'm just loving that we're having the talents of the community shared here. So we're looking forward to Ellen. And Elle and her team, there's some new musicians.
Oh, yes.
Going to be up here today, so that'll be great. Mm-hmm. And we've got two other things that are happening today. The search committee for our new spiritual leader is going to be meeting with folks who'd like to stay after the service today to have you just give input into what's important to you in a new spiritual leader or leaders. And so it's just a conversation. The group has done a lot of work, and they're interested in finding out more from you about what's essential to you as we look for our new folks. Gloria, would you like to come talk about your book study? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gloria Willis, and we just started a book study based on Joel Goldsmith's work. And I realize that many people really don't know about Joel Goldsmith, but he does. His work is being used in Unity churches around the country because he was a metaphysician starting in the late 1800s and passed away in 1963. and has over 53 books on metaphysics and the mystical eye to his credit. So I wanted to invite you, if you didn't know about this class, to come on Thursday morning at 10 a.m., 10 to 11:30, and you have an opportunity to read the book and ask questions. And I know for me, having been a spiritual seeker my whole life, his work speaks to me like none other. It just speaks to my heart, and that's why I feel so privileged to be able to do this here and be able to invite you. And it's really about a change in our consciousness from the human view of looking at things to the spiritual view. How do we see every single day through the spiritual eyes? And so it's, anyway, that's probably all I need to share. I could go on and on.
Thanks, Gloria. And one last announcement. We're going to have a small group that's doing a service for us that are sharing their experience of the mystical. So Jim and Sharon are currently doing a book study from metaphysics to the mystical. And I've had lots of conversations with folks who are kind of hungry to talk about what's the place of the mystical in our current experiences, in our unity experience. And my experience is that many folks have those moments of knowing, the ones, either small ones where you feel directly guided, or sometimes the brick that falls on your head that you know you've been spoken to. But there aren't very many places, we don't have very many opportunities to say, hey, I had this experience and I'd like to tell you about it. So if anybody has an experience that they'd like to share, it doesn't need to be huge, just to bring that sense that mystical experiences actually happen in our lives, in our common lives. And if you'd like to share that, please let me know. So we'll have a small panel, maybe 3 or 4 folks sharing just for 5 or 10 minutes an experience where they were touched by the divine. So let us know. And with that, I'm done with the announcements. And let's just take a big old deep breath. And we'll say our unity blessing together. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi. Here's a song I wrote. When my daughter Ari was about 5, one of her best friend's mothers got a brain tumor, and over the weekend, and they went in and did surgery, and it was growing back while they were taking it out, so they closed her up and said goodbye. And my daughter was 5, and one of her friends had just lost her mother, and she's looking at me going, oh my God, what if something happens to you? And, so that was now in her head. And I said, sweetheart, I think I'm going to last a long time. But if something does happen to me, just know that you'll always have my voice in your head, and you'll have all our memories. And if something happens to you, I'll have the same, because you are a part of me. And that became a song. And sadly, I've actually had to live that with my second child, who did die. But I do carry him in my heart, and I really feel it's true for anybody you share time with. You have their thoughts. I got a lot of Gerald stuff in my head. he's a real, he's got a lot of great lines and food for thought. But everybody that you meet and you interact with is a part of you. It's a part of your experience. So this goes out to everybody. It's called You Are Part of Me. You are a part of me as I am a part of you. The life that flows through me is the life that flows through you. No ending or beginning, forever throughout time. Like a river, love flows through us and nourishes the dreams of all mankind. Our God has many names, but love is the one I hear. This bright and burning love says there's no need for fear. And when we truly know this, we cast our fears away and feel love in the sunlight, knowing darkest night gives birth to brightest day. You are a part of me as I am a part of you. Here in the heart of me as I know I am in you. I'll always hold a memory of what you mean to me and think of you with kindness, knowing what I give is what comes back to me. From dust we all are taken, to dust we shall return. The love we share upon the earth, it's why we're here, it's what we're here to learn. Love is what we're here to learn, and you are a part of me as I am a part of you.
Good morning. I'm Dale Pettigrew. I'm also known as Dahlia. That's my Sufi name. And I'm pleased to be reading for you today. This is Touching the Veil of Thin Places by Jean-Paul Bedard. I have been places where I feel that my heart is being cleaved open so that pain can escape and joy flood in. The sensation can come to me on a long walk in the mountains or in the forest, or standing on a deserted beach and feeling the tide roll over my feet, and can even appear under the harsh lights of a hospital room, watching someone dear stoically take his last breath. I was reading an article yesterday when I came across a Celtic expression that beautifully encapsulates what I have always thought to be true. The Celtic Christians believed that there were mystical spaces called thin places where the veil between the holy and the human is transversed. A place in which physical and spiritual worlds are knit together. If we are so attuned, we can transcend the ordinary for a glimpse of the infinite. I'm sure you've been in such places, jarring with kinetic energy, and simply by your presence, you are some way changed. Thin places are not necessarily sacred places or peaceful places. I consider them to be places of dissonance or transformational plateaus. The energy that flows through me is an experience that leaves my heart open, more grateful, more empathetic, and less alone. It's a disarming feeling of being brought to your own attention, knowing that you are forever changed by the experience. Thank you.
Well, we have a couple of, I guess, new faces up here. Paula is a friend from another Unity gathering that we used to do, and she plays a multitude of instruments and sings, and we ran into each other at the car wash, right?
We did.
It's like, hey, let's do some music together. So, and this is my roommate, our roommate, Brett, and he's a little shy, but he's now a bass player. This is his, his first time on stage since high school. So, yay! All right. It's a safe place, yeah. All right, get the right music here. And this was one of the songs that our speaker today, Ellen, wanted us to do. So we're doing it.
And we encourage you to sing along.
All
I'm
right.
sure you'll recognize it.
It's the face of God. And we've changed a few words, but jump in again. I'm a teacher. There are no wrong notes, you know. It's the energy. Mm-hmm. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of God. You are the face of joy. I hold you in my heart. Here in the heart of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of hope. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
You are the face of peace. I hold you in my heart. You are inside of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of bliss. I hold you in my heart. my family. You are the face of God.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Good morning. Thank you for the beautiful music. My talk today is Love Poems from Long Ago Mystics. And I'd like to begin by reading a poem from one of the mystics, Hafiz, that has special meaning to me. My sweet crushed angel, you have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to hold hands with the beautiful one. You have waltzed with great style, my sweet crushed angel, to have ever neared God's heart at all. Our partner is notoriously difficult to follow, and even his best musicians are not always easy to hear. So what if the music has stopped for a while? So what if the price of admission for the divine is out of reach tonight? So what, my sweetheart, if you lack the ante to gamble for real love? The mind and the body are famous for holding the heart ransom. But Hafiz knows the beloved's eternal habits. Have patience, for he will not be able to resist your longings and charms for long. You have not danced so badly, my dear, trying to kiss the magnificent one. You have actually waltzed with tremendous style, my sweet, oh my sweet crushed angel. Nearly 20 years ago, I heard this poem read for the first time. As the words reached me, I became aware of my eyes tearing up, which happens every time I read it. I became aware that I was tearing up and feeling deeply moved. At that time in my life, I was experiencing painful fallout from a second divorce and definitely feeling crushed by life at some moments. I bought the book from which this poem was read, and after several readings, I began to approach the idea that just maybe I didn't have to be perfect to be loved. And even though I may be tripping and stumbling over my dance steps along the way, I might actually be waltzing with tremendous style in God's eyes. And everything will be okay. And it was. In his book, Love Poems from God, 12 Sacred Voices from the East and the West, Daniel Ladinsky published a collection of poetry written by men and women who lived long ago. One poet lived as long ago as the years 700s. Ladinsky translated the writings into English from their original languages, which were the Islamic nations, Italy, Germany, Spain, and India. He updated some words to help the understanding by modern readers. In the preface of his book, Ladinsky writes, "Through their poetry, their lives, and their prayers, God played for us his music, which can still be heard today, hundreds of years later. For what a party the soul aflame creates." I would like to share a few of these souls aflame with you. Some of these have deeply touched my soul. Some I may read the poem in completion, and some, well, I may just read lines from it. So back to Hafiz. He lived in the 1300s in an area once known as Persia, which I think is Iran today. And he's considered to be one of the history's greatest lyrical geniuses. Let's see what else he has to say. This is called the Christ's breath. I am a hole in a flute that the Christ's breath moves through. Listen to this music. When I listen, I hear, is the Christ's breath moving through me? Is Christ's breath moving as me? Is the Christ's breath breathing me? And am I the music? If God invited you to a party. If God invited you to a party and said, everyone in the ballroom tonight will be my special guest, how would you then treat them when they arrived? Indeed, indeed. And Hafiz knows that there is no one in this world who is not standing upon his jeweled dance floor. So that reminds me of a statement in the Bible that says, the ground upon which I stand is holy ground, even at a dance floor. The sun never says, even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, you owe me. Look what happens with a love like that. It lights the whole world. Seeking comfort? Listen to this one. Just sit there right now. Just sit there right now. Don't do a thing. Just rest. For your separation from God is the hardest work in this world. Let me bring you trays of food and something you like to drink. You can use my soft words as a cushion for your head. And a line from this next poem, I think, is on the front of the bulletin. Each soul completes me. My beloved said, my name is not complete without yours. And I thought, how could a human's worth ever be such? And God, knowing all our thoughts, and all our thoughts are innocent steps on the path, then addressed my heart. God revealed a sublime truth to the world when he sang, I am made whole by your life. Each soul completes me. Next, I would like to read some poems written by Rabia. Her story is extraordinary. She lived around the years 717 to 801. It was a while ago. And is considered the most popular and influential of female Islamic saints and a central figure in the Sufi tradition. When she was a child, she was stolen from her family and sold into slavery. Because she was so beautiful, she was purchased by a brothel and remained there for many years. Of this experience, she writes, what a place for trials and transformation did my lover put me. But never once did he look upon me as if I were impure. Dear sisters, all we do in this world, whatever happens, is bringing us closer to God. When she was around 50, she was given her freedom. Her life was then devoted to meditation and prayer, and many healing miracles were attributed to her. Die before you die. Ironic, but one of the most intimate acts of our body is death. So beautiful appeared my death, knowing then who I would kiss. I died 1,000 times before I died. Die before you died, said the Prophet Muhammad. Have wings that feared ever touched the sun? I was born when all I once feared I could love. I won't read all of the poems in entirety. Sometimes I'll just read a few lines or so from them. The moment's depth. The moment's depth is greater than that of the future. And from the fields of the past, what can you harvest again? The soul does not understand the word seasons. The petals on the sun can only be touched now. In my soul. In my soul, there is a temple, a shrine, a mosque, a church where I kneel. Prayer should bring us to an altar where no walls or names exist. My poem's attempt. All of what I would want my child to know, my poem's attempt. We are infants before each other, are we not? So vulnerable to each other's words and movements. A school I sat in cured me of hurting others. I have come to see that all are seated at his table, and I have become his servant. Sometimes God is too shy to speak in public and he pinches me. That is my cue to fill in the blanks of your understanding the best I can. Until we know that God lives in us and we can see him there, a great poverty we suffer. It acts like love. It acts like love, music. It reaches toward the face, touches it, and tries to let you know his promise that all will be okay. It acts like love, music, and tells the feet, you do not have to be so burdened. My body is covered with wounds this world made, but I still longed to kiss him, even when God said, could you also kiss the hand that caused each scar? For you will not find me until you do. It does that, music. Helps us to forgive. She also had a great sense of humor. This one's called Troublemakers. Since no one really knows anything about God, those who think they do are just troublemakers. Many people have heard of Rumi, who lived in Afghanistan in the 1200s. He is considered one of the greatest poets known to history and is currently one of the most widely read poets in the English language. Rumi says, why lay yourself on the torturer's rack of the past and future? The mind that tries to shape tomorrow beyond its capacities will find no rest. Be kind to yourself, dear, to our innocent follies. Forget any sounds or touch you knew that did not help you dance. You will come to see that all evolves us. If you put your heart against the earth with me, in serving every creature, our beloved will enter you from the sacred realm, and we will be so happy. This is one of my favorites. Rumi, pay homage. If God said, Rumi, pay homage to everything that has helped you enter my arms, there would not be one experience of my life, not one thought, not one feeling, not any act I would not bow to. I guess he figured himself to be a marriage counselor because he writes this, relationship booster. Here is a relationship booster that is guaranteed to work. Every time your spouse or lover says something stupid, make your eyes light up as if you just heard something brilliant. And the fourth and the last sacred voice I'd like to share with you is Tukaram, who lived in India, in the early 1600s. Like Hafiz, it is said that his poems are an intimate journal of discovering the God within. He is also known for his great sense of humor. And like St. Francis of Assisi, animals and birds just loved him. The poem is, first he looked confused. I could not lie anymore, so I started to call my dog God. First he looked confused. Then he started smiling. Then he even danced. I kept at it. Now he doesn't even bite. I am wondering if this might work on people. Birds don't brag about flying. Birds don't brag about flying the way we do. They don't write books about it and then give workshops. They don't take on disciples and spoil their own airtime. Who could dance and achieve liftoff with a bunch of wackos tugging on you? My lucky rock. I said to a squirrel, "What is that you are carrying?" And he said, "Oh, it's my lucky rock. Isn't it pretty?" I held it and said, "Indeed." I said to God, "What is this earth?" And he said, "It's my lucky rock. Isn't it wondrous?" Yes, indeed. So thank you for allowing me to share some of the ancient mystic poets who touched my soul and with their amazing words. It's been fun and a privilege.
Let's take a moment and go into the silence. Take a couple of quiet breaths and just go into the silence and think about those mystics that lived centuries ago.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is everywhere. And every thought's indeed a prayer. May the blessing of God rest upon me. May God's peace abide in me. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. May the blessing of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide in you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon us. May God's peace abide in us. May God's presence illuminate our heart now and forevermore. Now and forevermore. Now and forevermore.
Now we've come to the time in our service where we bless our unity with our love and gift of energy. We have baskets that we used to pass around and are now located in two places. And those of you online, you may beam your love to us or put it in snail mail, either one. Our prosperity blessing, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Hello. This one is kind of a rocker. You have such, those poems, you had me crying, you had me laughing, oh my God. And that woman in the 700s, wow. Yeah, who knew? I want her name, but not right now because I won't remember. So this was another song she requested, What If God Was One of Us? And of course, I had to change a few words. I'm thinking since God birthed everything, we're going with the her for this time. Hey, the he has had so much, airtime, thank you. I knew there was a word for it. And we're just trying to balance out the universe here. And I just couldn't go with the slob, I'm sorry. We had to make it a lost child, which actually matched what you were saying, It's like, whoa. All right, so anyway, with no further ado. Thank you. If God had a name, what would it be and would you call it to her face? If you were faced with her in all her glory, what would you ask if you had just one question? And yeah, God is great, and yeah, God is good, and yeah, what if God was one of us? A lost child like one of us, just a stranger on the bus trying to find her way home. If God had a face, what would she look like and would you want to see? If seeing meant that you would have to believe in things like heaven and in Jesus and the saints and all those prophets, so yeah, God is great, and yeah, God is good, and yeah, what if God was one of us? A lost child like one of us, just a stranger on the bus trying to make her way home. She's trying to make her way home. the boat may be in Rome. And yeah, and God is good, and yeah, and God is good, and yeah, what if God was one of us? A lost child like one of us, just a stranger on the bus, trying to make her way home. Just like a holy rolling stone, back up to heaven all alone, just trying to make her way home. Nobody calling on the phone, nobody calling on the phone. Oh, thank you. Couldn't do it without my friends.
Those are good friends. Oh, very good friends. Joellen, it's birthday. It's birthday Sunday. It's the second Sunday in March. And we like to celebrate the beloveds. So anybody who has a birthday in March, come on up.
We want to sing to you.
Come on.
None this one?
Come on, come on. Birthdays in March. We have birthdays in March. There might be more of you. Really? There's got to be more. Come on up. All right. There. Anybody who's on Zoom, stand up. Open your arms. Okay. Go for it, Joelle.
Okay. Tell us your name and the number of the month.
Anna Spogat, March 29th.
Yay.
Well, since there are only two of them, we can say Dennis and Sandy.
Ooh, yeah, sure.
We can say Lovitz, or we can say all three of them.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you all. Probably a lot of you don't know that Dennis does our books. He's our financial accounting wizard.
Yes.
Thank you, Dennis.
Be nice to
Dennis does books.
Dennis does books.
Yeah.
Let's circle up and join me for the prayer of protection and the peace song. We're pretty big here today.
Yeah. Wow, really? Jeez.
All right. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as our creator, family all are we. As we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, this is my joyous vow, to take each moment and live